No, look at that. You came. Didn't think you would. So, what's your take on this contemporary sample of Chilean dancing? Well, that doesn't mean you can't have an opinion, does it? Anyway, how about a sip of wine? Rounds are on me. Come, take a seat. So, before we move on to more pleasant topics, there is one thing I need to get off my chest first. I heard of the, paper chase you had to go through to find me. I know, he's pulled that stunt on others before. He speaks perfect Enderal, by the way. That whole "I only stupid Chilean" thing is part of the act. In that sense, thanks for teaching him a lesson. It was overdue. But anyway, tell me, what brought you here? Just where exactly from Narim are you from? I'm curious. That's why I asked. Yeah, I know what you mean. You know, this is precisely why I find it so interesting that so many people accuse us Chileans of being greedy or dishonorable. I mean, just take a look around. Are the other nations of the civilized world really so much better? We've got Narim, which was recently split into 3 and devastated by 3 madmen. I don't need to tell you about that. Then there's Kira, with its fabled free thinking in universities. But every 2 weeks, there's a new attempt at revolution with at least 3 dozen corpses. And don't get me started on our twin to Arizale or this place. What I'm trying to say is, yes, there's poverty on the Blue Islands. On Chile, and yes, there are problems. But we are free. Neither Morala nor the Elder Council tell us what to do, and no matter how dire the circumstances you're born into, life is what you make of it. So it's basically the opposite of this excuse for a country. Anybody can become rich, famous, if they want to, live an eremite's life on the beach. As long as they can go through with it. Then sure, there are exceptions. But in my experience, those who never made it brought it on themselves. Then now you're here, working as a protector for one of the most influential merchant guilds of the civilized world. Because you wouldn't surrender to what other people tried to sell you as your fate. You know, I know what it means to have to fight for something. Unlike that snot DeLorean, I wasn't born with a bag of gold stuffed up my ass. But instead of wallowing in self-pity or listening to the priests talk about how everything gets better once you're dead, I took responsibility for my own fate. If a dust-sniffing loser as a father and a clump-footed, half-witted brother qualify as not exactly noble, then yes. I don't want to talk about it. Was. Merciful as the gods were, they blessed him with a deadly fever at the age of 10. Probably better that way. An addict and a failure. Do you know the kind of person who does nothing all day long but whine about how unfair the world is? Take that and throw in 2 sacks of droge and there you have him. Jaran Onelis. My esteemed creator, and one of the reasons I spent most of my childhood eating dust and insects for breakfast. It was. I have, and I'm only getting started. You should see them, all these losers who I grew up with. Yes, they were dealt a tough hand, but instead of grabbing fate at its throat, they just went through their lives with their heads bowed and nodding at everyone. I'll never understand how people can be that way. Anyway, let's not go further into this. I'd say we make a cut here, shall we?
Oh well.
It's late and I should see how my crew is doing. It was a pleasure, Protector. Until next time.
Now, if it isn't my esteemed trade partner, I thought you were still in Duneville.
Ah, hello. Well, I was, until recently. But seriously, things are starting to get quite dicey down there. Lost ones all over the desert, bone rippers. Truth be told, I'm actually glad my caravan made it back without any casualties.
Huh. That must be the red madness everyone is talking about. Say, do you happen to know the condition of the mines? I have a fair dozen of prospectors down there myself, and with all the things you hear from the wilderness, I'm starting to get worried.
Well, according to the Duneville people, the mines are safe as always. But do you want to hear my opinion? I think you should call back all the money you have invested there as soon as possible. We both know Dunevillers aren't exactly the embodiment of virtue, and I'm pretty certain they'd be the last to defend your diggers if the mine gets ambushed. But as I said, that's just how I see it.
I see. Thanks for your opinion. I will think about it.
You should. Now forgive me. I have to get going. Walk blessed, friend.
And you.
Yes? What are you
Yes?
doing here?
Yes?
So many strange faces. Well, isn't it nice?
Hear my words, O path-abiding people of this holy city.
Hungry for arcane secrets? I have
Yes.
scrolls, potions, anything for friends and family.
Yes? She? Oh, wonderful. That changes a lot. Not if they understand the meaning of responsibility and discipline. And unfortunately, that's not the norm. Now you'll get your pay. Go talk to penny pouches. I will contact you if your services are needed once again, which will most likely be very soon.
Light fades away at
Farewell.
the end of the day.
There's one more thing. This Dijon. What's your take on her? I will be. Thank you. Now go. You'll hear from me.
Greetings.
Oh, of course. Your pay for having a chit-chat with that woman. Here, I think that is more than enough. Well, aren't you the eager one? Does all that money whet your appetite? But no, not at the moment. Oh, hang on. You know a thing or two about beating up people, don't you? Well, there might be something.